Are you not entertained? Tie game 77-all. New York, Minnesota. Series is tied at 1. Sabrina Ionescu up against Kayla McBride. The logo 3. Made it, and that is your game winner. The Liberty are 1 win away from winning their first ever WNBA title. They were down by as many as 15 points in the first half, and we get this result. Sabrina with the game winner, but it was Breanna Stewart who carried this team on her back midway through that third quarter to the end and most of that fourth, and then Sabrina came alive. Nafisa Collier with 22 and 9. Kayla McBride had 19, but the Liberty win a thriller 80-77. And for more on this game, we bring in CBS Sports WNBA analyst Erica Ayala. And Erica, I'm overwhelmed with emotion and just joy because of what we're witnessing in these WNBA finals. Sabrina Ionescu didn't have her best shooting night, but she comes up clutch. How awesome has it been to watch her rise to the moment time in and time out this year?
I mean, really all I can say is insert VP Harris's favorite curse word, Breanna. This has been fantastic to watch. As someone who was on the Liberty beat when Sabrina Ionescu was drafted to the New York Liberty, you saw the promise. A player coming out of college, expected to do big things as a #1 draft pick. But just like we saw with Kelsey Plum, she gets hurt in her rookie year, and that delayed perhaps the greatness that we are now witnessing in the 2024 WNBA Finals. And Sabrina Ionescu didn't need to shoot at the volume that she was shooting at in Game 1. She learned that lesson. And for me, Chris, that is the big thing here with Sabrina Ionescu. She is a quick learner. She studies the game. And that is what right now, those killer instincts, the skill that she has and her ability to adapt is what is putting New York Liberty in a position to win their first championship. But she'll be the first one to say it. They haven't done anything yet. Sabrina Ionescu, combined with the overall will and lethal instincts of Breanna Stewart, that's how New York got this big win on the road.
You talk about Sabrina having a killer instinct. You talk about Breanna Stewart putting this team on her back for most of that second half. 30 points, 11 boards, 4 blocks. What did you see her in terms of her change in emotion or just sheer will? Like, yo, we're not losing this game, because to me, it felt like there was a switch in that second half where she was on a mission to make sure they won.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw what the New York Liberty, specifically Breanna Stewart, was able to do in the third quarter. And it's a conversation that she's constantly having with her teammates. And I would probably guess with herself internally, if I can do something to win this game, we see her talking to the team right there in that clip. If I can do something to put us in a position to win this game, then I am going to do it. That is the leadership. That is the championship pedigree from UConn, from Seattle under Sue Bird. And now Stewart has to be that leader for this New York team if they want to win a championship.
Absolutely, and she seems, but all of them seem very motivated and determined to get this championship. We also have to talk about Jonquel Jones. She hit a huge 3 down the stretch. What did you like from her? Because there were points in the game where you weren't sure what she was actually thinking, making some plays that you just expect another player to make. So what did you like about her ability to stay locked in when the Liberty needed that shot?
It's just that, what you said, Chris. Jonquel Jones is and has been for a majority of her career a very emotional player. I think opponents know that, her teammates know that. And Jonquel Jones, the maturity that she has shown in this series particularly, and even last year you saw it growing, that has been huge. And that is what gives her the confidence confidence and her teammates the confidence for her to make a three-pointer, then get a massive rebound and get another bucket for the New York Liberty at a time when they weren't getting stops. And when you have your center, a big that can do that for you, that's what makes this New York Liberty team so lethal. There it goes, boom, knocking it down from the perimeter. That was a huge shot for the New York Liberty. And Jonquel Jones, she wasn't getting a lot of touches in the paint. You have to give a lot of credit to Ayala Smith. Unfortunately, we saw her go down with an injury, and that did impact the flow for the Minnesota Lynx. But Smith had her pushed out all the way on the perimeter. You don't necessarily want Jonquel Jones handling the ball that far out with so many great playmakers, as we heard Courtney Vandersloot say earlier today. But Jonquel Jones, the New York Liberty, they fought through that. They figured it out. And then they actually used Jonquel Jones on the perimeter as part of the way to get this win.
Yeah, so just a monumental win for them. Just when you think Minnesota might go up 2-1, the Liberty say, hold on, we got something to say about that. If you're Minnesota, Erica, this is a gut-wrenching loss because you felt like you had the game. What do you think they need to do when it comes to this next game in Game 4 to make sure they don't lose this WNBA Finals and New York is celebrating on their home court?
Well, if you are the Minnesota Lynx, you really can't hold on to shoulda, coulda, wouldas. This is the WNBA Finals, Chris. Ain't nobody feels sorry for you. Go out and get that win. The only way you do that is if you perform as close to perfection as possible in all 4 quarters for all 40 minutes and any extra time that you might get if it goes to overtime. But you have to know, both of these teams at this point have to know that there is no safe lead. There is no safe lead. And so if you're Minnesota, you want to be able to punch early, just like they did in this game, Game 3. And then you have to act if at no other point in the game, like Game 4, or excuse me, the 4th quarter is a reset, an absolute reset at zeros, and start the game all over again, just how you started it in the 1st quarter.
So that's what they need to do moving forward to make sure they're not eliminated and Liberty win the WNBA title. But when you look at how they lost the game, where did you see the key differences or the key breakdowns that allowed New York to just come back and rip this game from the Lynx?
You know, again, it's you look at a player like Breanna Stewart that just would not be denied. And there really wasn't much that we saw from Lainey Hamilton, at least not offensively. They got good minutes from Niara Sabally. And if you're Minnesota, you kind of like what you got offensively. Carlton with 14 points. We've been waiting to see her show up. You like, of course, 22 points from Collier, 19 from McBride. So I guess if you really had to push the needle, and this is again where New York has, generally speaking, had the advantage, you need a little bit more from role players. You know, Courtney Williams had 12, but you need maybe more from Natisha Heidemann, who we know can score as well. But it can't just be one person, and that's what makes New York so dangerous. Although when they do have that one person, most of the time, it's Breanna Stewart.
Right, and she is an all-world talent, will go down as one of the greatest players to ever play the game. So the momentum is all the way with New York, Erica. As you move ahead for this series, do you believe that Minnesota will come back and tie the series up at 2? Or are we sitting here on Friday night seeing the Liberty win their first ever WNBA title in your eyes?
All right, now listen, you know that I have said on multiple occasions, this one is going 5. Now, I will also say what I've said on multiple occasions. Your girl grew up rooting for New York and the New York Liberty. And so as much as I would love to see New York win in the next game, the analyst in me is sticking with my gut. We're going 5 because just like we saw from Game 1 to Game 2, New York on their home court figured it out. I cannot imagine a Cheryl Reeve coached team is going to drop 2 in a row at home in the WNBA Finals.
All right, you heard it here first. We are getting a Game 5 according to Erica Ayala. We appreciate the time as always. Such wonderful insight.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. The storytelling, the drama. Game 4 Friday, 8 Eastern in Minneapolis, and then Game 5, if necessary, Sunday, also 8 p.m. tip in New York for the final game of the WNBA season.